Hi babies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Giftogu. I'm a Nigerian YouTuber living in England, United Kingdom. And if this is your first time of watching any of my videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. I make videos about lifestyle, travel, getting remote jobs, accelerating your career, living in the UK, and basically about my life. I've had this microphone for a while now. It was a birthday gift from Chisim, the Chisi of the Most High, and I've used it once. I always forget I have a microphone. So today I decided to use my microphone. To film this video. I just kept it here. So I hope you guys can hear me because you guys have complained about my audio a lot, and Chisim thought it was really nice to get me a new microphone. The last video, which did really well, I got a lot of comments. I think that video is currently at 1,600 views, and I got a lot of comments on that video. People were saying, why come back now? Come back. Why are you advising us to like keep your opinion to yourself? Why are you making videos that are telling people not to come here? Like, hold up. If you've been following my channel for the longest time, you know that I do not make videos to discourage you from coming here. My content is basically how you can come here, what you can do here, how to how to transform your career, how not to even get the conventional jobs here, what you can do to actually get a professional job, how you can come, how much you need when you come here. It's basically about moving here. So to accuse me because of one video that you've watched that tries to be viral, of not wanting you to come here because of that video, that is very unfair. Like, I have never made any video telling people not to come here. Like, I've never made any video telling people not to come here. It's always about how you can come here. Anyway, if you've not seen that video, I'm going to put the link here. I'm going to put it in the description box. You're going to also see it on my end screen. You're going to see it in my cards. You could see it everywhere basically. So just go back and watch that video and see what everybody is talking about. But that video is not what this video today is about. In today's video I'm going to be sharing 7 things that I love about living in the UK. Yes, 7 things. I know that previously I like in the last video, the video that I talked about, I said I said why I want to move back and why people actually leave, and then I got a lot of comments like I said earlier on. But today I'm just going to tell you guys 7 things that I like about living here. I'm trying to be organized, and that's why I wrote it down. So if you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at my notes. I made a note. I'm trying to be more organized with this channel. I mean, after having 2,000 plus subscribers, it's high time I take the channel seriously, right? The first point is it has a good educational system. I remember when I was in second year and I was writing down my 25 plans. I got into uni when I was 16 years, and I spent like 5 years in uni at the University of Nigeria. I mean, I did my first year first, and then I repeated my first year, not because I failed, but because I was in a course I did not like. And after my first year, I decided that I was going to change my department and just start from the beginning again. But when I was in second year in my new department, I actually wrote down the things that I wanted to do before I turned 25. And part of that was getting a master's degree. And I wrote that I want to do my master's in the UK. Not because like everyone was going there, because everyone was not going there at the time. They didn't have like this post-work study visa. It was just that it had such a good educational system. I mean, I had the opportunity to go to one of the best schools in Nigeria. I mean, University of Nigeria Nsukka is an amazing school. My department, English and Literary Studies, we have one of the best English departments in Nigeria. Like, go and verify in Peter Obi's voice. I really enjoyed studying English and Literary Studies at the University of Nigeria. But what I do not like about the Nigerian system is the strikes. I remember in my first year, we had a 6-month long strike. I was at home it was the longest time that I've actually spent at home, because I moved out I moved down from home when I was 16, like to go to uni. So that particular strike was the longest time that I actually spent at home. I was so miserable, exhausted of staying at home. I was on Facebook back to back. What did I even achieve then? I tried to get a job, and they were like, oh, they can't employ me because they might call off the strike anytime, and I'll just up and leave. So I didn't like that experience, the whole going on strikes. And aside from that, like the Nigerian educational system can be better, because I'll not say it's too bad, because like most of the graduates actually come abroad and they excel, you know. So I'm not going to say that it's too bad, because I feel we can compete favorably with our peers from different countries. But I just feel that it's not where it should be. Most of the lecturers in some schools, basically you have to sort, or they'll tell you A is for me and my family members, B is for, you know how it goes anyway. So it's not actually the best educational system in the world. Do you understand? It's not like the best educational system in the world. Like I had the opportunity to have like really good teachers in my department at the University of Nigeria, like Mr. AJ, so he really taught me poetry. And like, yeah, I had, if you hear me talk about the University of Nigeria, I only have good things to say about it, because I had such a good experience. I had a well-rounded life, like partying. I was always partying. I was always going to church. I was always serious with classes. So I combined everything properly. Here my social life is minus 40. I don't have any social life. I hardly go for parties. It's just work and studying, work and studying. At the University of Nigeria, I also had the opportunity to work, you know, work, go for party, study, go to church. I was serious with church. I was serious with partying. I was serious with my studies. I was serious with everything. But here it's, I don't know. But the educational system here in the UK is one of the main things that made me even come here, and one of the reasons that I actually like here. When I moved here, I remember them calling me, asking me how I'm coping. Are you depressed or something like that? How are you? How are you doing? How are you really doing? I think this calls lasted for a complete month. They called me every week when I moved. I think every Monday or something like that. They actually called me to know how I was doing and how I was coping. And aside from that, the classes are really insightful. You know, you can actually talk to your lecturers. There are a lot of material to help you, like, you know, get the most out of your studies. So that's like the major reason, one of the best reasons that I actually love living here in the UK. And if you're thinking of moving and you're looking for a country that has like a good educational system, I think you should actually consider the second thing that I actually love about living here is the electricity. I know I'm too Nigerian to be sounding like this, but in Nigeria, if you've watched this channel for the longest time, you know that I always mention my career back in Nigeria. I was working from home before there was anything like working from home. I started working from home in 2019. So for me, electricity is very important to me. And as a Lagosian, I was born and raised in Lagos, and during the major part of my adult life, when I started living alone and when I moved out from my mom completely, I spent it in Lagos, Nigeria, and all of that. So one of the problems that I had with Lagos, Nigeria was the electricity. It was erratic. It was uh, I have no words. As someone that was working from home, I usually go to CC Hub. CC Hub is a co-working space. You remember when Mark Zuckerberg came to Nigeria, he went to CC Hub, you know. So CC Hub actually hosts most of these tech founders from the abroad, but it also has a co-working space. I pay 1,500 naira per day anytime I want to use CC Hub, and I go there around like 9 in the morning, and I get home. I leave there by I think 8 or 7, because it was like close to my house, though, but I was not going to walk to my house, because, you know, I don't want anybody to steal my laptop at that time of the night. So I usually like leave by 6 or 7 when it's still quite bright, when it's not dark, so that I can actually like live with my laptop like in my hands. Do you understand? But the lack of electricity really affected my remote work. I know sometimes when I'm having meetings and then the light goes off and they're like, oh, you still understand? And then I'm explaining, sorry, I'm in Nigeria, we don't have constant electricity. Like, sister, you're working remotely, we don't care. Like, you took this job, you already knew that your country's electricity is erratic, so you should have found a solution or something like that, which made me spend a lot of money at CCO. Imagine if I have to work there 5 times in a week. I have to spend around yeah, if I'm working there 5 times in a week, I spend around 5,500. And for this CC Hub place I go to, I usually go there like 3 times in a week, sometimes more. It was when I wrote a professional exam, I Chartered Institute of Insurance, and all of that. I became a member, so I started going there to work, and it was free because I had my membership card. But before I got that membership card, I was always going to CC Hub and I was paying money. If I don't go to CC Hub is actually the cheapest, because there are others. There's one that you have to pay 3K, and I've been there before actually. I've paid 2.5, I've paid 2K, I've paid 3K per day to use a co-working space, because we don't have light constantly. I do not like the sound of my generator. I cannot be turning my generator on from morning to night because I'm working from home. So I would rather just go to a co-working space, pay there, and work from there. So it was quite expensive. So moving here, when I moved here newly, it was quite a challenge regarding the electricity. I usually run to charge my phone whenever I come back home, but I had to like get used to the program that, oh, like there's constant electricity here. So yeah, I'm Nigerian, so the constant electricity here is one of the reasons that I actually like living here, because I'm not scared of like not charging my laptop, not charging my phone or something like that. I just know that no matter what, I can come back home and which brings me to the third part, which is low crime rate. I'm not saying that this place they don't used to steal, because they do. Most of my apartments we get letters from the police saying, oh, make sure you lock your doors and all of that. So it's not like they don't steal here or something like that, but the crime rate here is low compared to where I'm coming from. Because where I'm coming from, I cannot go out to buy suya on my street with my phone at night. I will not be doing that. I cannot come out around like 9, 10, and I'm going my laptop, my precious laptop. No. I cannot do that. Or I'll just, I don't know. If I'm going to buy suya somewhere around my street, I leave my phone in my house and then I come downstairs and just buy my suya and go back upstairs, because I don't want anybody to steal my phone. So why I like living here is that when I come back late at night, I'm not actually scared that someone is going to like take stuff from me. If I go to work and maybe I come back by 10 and I'm walking from the train station to my house, I'm not actually scared. When I went to my family up north here, I go back here really late and all of that, and I was not actually afraid of like walking from the train station to my house, because I was not scared that someone is going to steal something from me or something. So the crime rate is really low. And another thing, also add to that, I would also say that the gun violence thing that we hear in the other part of the West, it's not like rampant here. You don't really hear that there's a shooting in a school or something. I mean, I'm not saying that these things don't happen, but they're not as rampant. They're not that common. The fourth thing that I love about living here is the fact that there is dignity in labor. In Nigeria, what do you do? A cleaner. Everybody will be looking down on you. Like people will be looking down on you, really. But here, there's actually dignity in labor, because people do all sorts of jobs. In fact, most times or sometimes, people that do manual jobs, they actually make a lot of money, and there's dignity in labor. Nobody's going to look down on you because you're a cleaner, or maybe you are working in a warehouse, or you're a carpenter. All those jobs that we find demeaning, these jobs that we feel that are demeaning in Nigeria, they are honestly not demeaning here. There's dignity in labor. Everybody respects everybody's hustle. We respect hard work here, and I feel that it's actually a good thing, because the fact that there's no dignity in labor in Nigeria is what makes people actually do Yahoo, because they want to make it sharp. But here they respect honest hustle. They don't want to know what you do. As far as your hustle is honest and legit, like, you will get the respect that you actually deserve, unlike Nigeria. So one thing that I actually like about living here is the fact that there's dignity in labor. Do you understand? People make an honest living, and nobody looks down on you for what you do. Do you grab? The fifth thing I love about living here, and why people actually love it here, is the fact that you would get the money that you worked for. Oh, Nigeria, my country. When I was in Nigeria, aside from my job in advertising, I was also a freelancer on Upwork. And if you have followed my journey, you will know that I was top. Please, I like to brag about my career, because I put in the work in that career. That's one thing that I'm actually really proud of. I've put in the work in that career. Anyway, I also had a job in advertising. I was also a freelancer on Upwork, and I was top rated. I was a top rated freelancer on Upwork, and I also got featured on Upwork on all their social media platforms. Instagram, where they have thousands of followers, on their LinkedIn, where they have over 1 million followers, and on their Facebook page. So they actually posted me as a talent spotlight. Upwork, basically, on their verified pages. What I'm trying to say is that, like, I understood the whole hourly job, because back then in Nigeria, I usually charge like $25 per hour. So I understood the hourly job, because on Upwork there is something called there's an app. So when you're working for a client on Upwork and it's an hourly job, you just go on the app on your desktop, and it takes screenshots of your screen, when you're doing the hourly project. So it shows the clients when they're trying to calculate your how much you get paid or something like that. Client sees that, oh, you've actually been working on this project. It takes screenshots of what you're doing on your screen. So every hour that you work, you get paid for it. So I already understood the hourly pay concept when I was in Nigeria because I was working on Upwork and I was earning in dollars and all of that. So I really got it. But here it's also like the same thing. It's also the hourly thing. When you work, you get paid for it. Unlike Nigeria, that you do work and they'll pay you 50k or something like that. You work Monday to Saturday. I remember when I was in when I finished from uni when I finished my bachelor's degree in 2017, I got a job immediately after my project defense before the NYSC thing in a PR company. So after working in the PR company, I was really tired, but thankfully that company really gave me the opportunity to work for some of the biggest brands that I've actually worked for in my life. And it also exposed me to the whole marketing communications field and made me understand that I would actually prefer to work here than in banking that I was working in previously. So after the job, I was so tired because we had a lot of events, a lot of campaigns. It was back to back, and I just wanted to chill during my NYSC. So after chilling during my NYSC, I worked at Radio Nigeria, which did not really do anything. I was not ready to go back to the job market, and then I went to one interview like that. They're like, the people exactly, we were going to pay me 40,000 naira to come to work Monday to Saturday. I didn't even stay to the end of the interview. I just carried my bag. I was like, because I have family that loves me, do not that I am definitely not doing this job. I'm sorry. I understand that, like, you get experience, but I already have experience. Okay, I came with experience already. I started working immediately after my project defense in a prestigious PR agency. So I was coming with my experience. I'm not your intern, you're not training me. So which one is that you pay me 40k? I'll now work Monday to Saturday. Like, as what now? Why? I just said no. Do you understand? So I didn't even stay to the end of the interview. I didn't take the job. So in Nigeria, imagine that you're working Monday to Saturday, like every day of the like almost every day of the week in a month, and you're getting 40k. What's the meaning of, like, what's up? What's that? When I did my first job on Fiverr, I paid me $15. They paid me $15, I think, per hour or something like that. I was like, what? That was like the first time I was earning the dollars. So I understood, like, that was when I started understanding the concept of hourly pay. You get to see what you've worked for. Do you understand? If you want to buy maybe a new phone or something like that, maybe the phone is £300, you know that, oh, if you work for so and so hours today and tomorrow, you get the money. If you want to send money home, maybe 100k home, you know that if you do a 12-hour shift, you would, for a day, you'll be able to send 100k home. Do you understand? So you get what you actually work for. Like, you will see your money. You get what you work for. So if you put in the work, if you say, oh, today I'm doing 12 hours today, maybe 10 hours tomorrow, 12 hours today, 8 hours tomorrow, you know how much you will make. You know how much you work for. You know that if you put in the work, you're going to get paid for it. It's not like you will work, stay in traffic, do this, do that, and at the end of the month, you're seeing 40k or 50k or I don't know. So yeah, I like the fact that you actually get to see. One thing I love living here is the access to other parts of the world. On my birthday, I traveled. I'm not going to tell you guys where I traveled to, but I actually traveled. It was my first vacation. Usually when I was in Nigeria, I will not say I go for vacations, because the only time I wanted to go for a vacation, I actually went home because I was working from home. I could do whatever I wanted to do with my not like my time, not like with my time, but I could go home, go see my mom, and then like spend 2 months at home. Do you understand? Like working from there. So I think I spent that was the longest time I spent. I spent like a month at home, and I was like, when I'm back, I'm going to travel. I wanted to do like, and I wanted to go to Ghana. I think Togo, Ghana, and then one other West African country. I think Togo, Ghana, and Senegal, or Togo, Ghana, and Ivory Coast. So I came back. That was in February. I booked my mom kept telling me to what's it called, to reschedule the flight, because she didn't want me to go. She didn't even know that I was going to stay that long. So I kept on moving my flight. So I was not like, see, mommy, I have to go back home. I have to go back to Lagos and all of that. I booked that flight, came back to Lagos, and there was lockdown. That was in 2020, so I was not able to go anymore. And yeah, so I was able to go for that vacation, and and I've always been somebody that is like interested in traveling, exploring, and all of that. So coming here, going on that vacation on my birthday was very important to me, and I was like, oh, I want to really travel more. And the good thing about the UK is the fact that it exposes you to other parts of the world. It's actually easier to get, the Schengen visa. If you apply for it from Nigeria, you might get rejected. You might have all the documents that get rejected. Let's be honest here. You might have all your documents and get rejected. But if you're here, you like the chances of you getting accepted is very high. Also, you also have access to apply to other visas or other countries. Like you can apply for a US visa, you will get a date. You understand? You can apply for a Canadian visit visa. You can also apply to go to, like, you can just see the world. And with the UK student visa, you also have access, visa free access to a couple of other countries, like I think Mexico and some of the UK territories, maybe St. Kitts or something like that. You can actually go around with the UK student visa. So it gives you an access to other parts of the world. And as somebody that really loves to travel, I plan to travel more even during this Christmas. I just hope that I'll get the opportunity to like do a trip to travel, and I'll bring you guys along. I did take you guys along for my birthday vacation, but I'll take you guys along if I'm traveling this holiday period. I don't really know yet, but we'll see about that. But it just gives you access to other parts of the world, and I really love that, because you can get a flight from here to like maybe Prague in Czech Republic for like 20 something pounds. You can get a flight from here to Spain for like 20 something pounds. You can get, like, it's it's actually crazy. It gives you a lot of access to other parts of the world, and traveling is not as expensive. Like in Nigeria, if you want to plan a trip, even to go to Ghana there, like my budget was like, oh my god, like I didn't want to take a bus because I usually have motion sickness, so I cannot stay in a moving vehicle for more than 2 hours. And when I cannot open the windows, I always feel like throwing up. So the bus was not like an option for me, except I was going to travel with my friends, or we're going to travel in a private car or something like that, or with my friends, so they can actually shout at the doctor to stop, so that I can the driver to stop, so that I can throw up. But if I'm going alone, like I was going to fly, so I calculated the flight fare, like the round trip fare, and then it was quite expensive. Like traveling around Africa is expensive. Going from here to maybe Seychelles or this is Maldives, to Seychelles or like Zanzibar is expensive. From Nigeria to South Africa, expensive. From Nigeria to Kenya, expensive. But here it's quite affordable to travel around Europe, and that's one of the reasons that I like living here. And I would encourage you to come if you want to come. If you want to come here, I remember one of my uncle that travels a lot. He told me one time that you need to travel more. You see that the world is better than what you're seeing right now. You need to see other parts of the world to know that the version of the world that you have right now is not the only version of the world. Do you understand? And I completely agree with him. And I intend to travel more from next year, actually. So this is one of the reasons that I actually love living. Another reason that I love living here is the accent. See, if you use accent to check me, I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Don't mind me, guys, but let's be honest, the accent is sexy. It's a sexy accent. I've always loved the British accent. From when I watched Harry Potter, from when I was growing up, I really loved the British accent. I've heard a couple of like other English accents, other English speaking countries accent, like the Canadian accent, the US accent, the Australian accent, which I think is cute actually, the New Zealand accent and all of that. But I think the British accent is really sexy. I like it. I like the accent. And not just the accent, the fact that English is spoken here, it's the official language here. It makes it easy for me. I mean, when you want me to start learning comment starter from, or it's been in Africa, it's been the German that I was learning when I got admission and go to university in Frankfurt. I won't forget everything. It's been eine Frau. I live in Lagos. It's been now, right? I don't have this about any language, which I'm not saying is a good thing or something like that. But it's just like, they speak English here. We speak English here. We speak English in Nigeria. So it's just an easy transition. You're not going to start learning languages. These countries that have other languages aside from English, I heard that most times they'll not answer you. Like if you're speaking English to them, like most of them can understand English, but they'll not answer you in English. They'll speak the language. Since you're coming to their country, you have to learn the language and all of that. So I feel that like the fact that English is widely spoken here is really one of the main reasons that I love living here, and one of the main reasons that you should consider this place as your top destination when it has to do with studying. This video is not sponsored by the British Embassy. This is just me as an immigrant from Nigeria telling you guys why I love living here. If you're thinking of moving to the UK, you should definitely come. These are like, I mean, these are top reasons why you should come. You don't see what the place that has good educational system, or low crime rates, or constant electricity, dignity labor, or access to other parts of the world, or speak English and with a sexy accent. Because I mean, yeah. So guys, that's all about this video. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and follow me on Instagram at IMMIGRANT. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I don't know, like, please now. So let's get to like 5K very soon. I beg, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do you want me to do that for you? I beg, subscribe, please. Thank you so much guys for watching. Till I come your way again next time, you could be nice to your neighbors, and bye. Be kind in the comment sections of my YouTube video, please. Be kind. I'm a good person.